Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Star Flames and we're back with another video. In this video guys, we're gonna talk about DDG saying that he cannot wait to move to Nigeria. Let's talk about it, shall we? Because based on my understanding, DDG has a luxurious mansion that is being built in Nigeria, and he's now saying that he cannot wait to leave the United States to go to Nigeria. As you guys know, he also lost his home in the LA fire. His home insurance was canceled just ahead of the fire, or I believe he found out after the fire that his home was not insured against fire. So as such, you know that is a major loss for DDG. And a lot is going on in the United States at this point that has the Black and brown community considering their options. And we see a lot of Americans moving to other countries at this point in time. And DDG is one of those people who are highly anticipating getting out of the United States as soon as possible. But the thing is a co-parenting situation with Halle. It hasn't been completely resolved. So I'm wondering, what's going to happen when he moves to Nigeria, because already he wanted to have overnight stay with Halle. The court has denied that. They basically told him no overnight involved. Yes, you can have weekends, but no overnight. The child can stay at your property for the night. You cannot stay at the child's property for the night. So you have to come up with some other arrangements. So knowing that that is still pending, I'm wondering how he's going to work out the logistics of it all, because DDG, he does make really good money, but at the end of the day, it's going to be really exhausting for him to having to commute from Nigeria back to the United States. So is this going to really work out for him, or is it that we're going to see DDG moving on from his son Halle? Well, that may potentially be his plan, may be his plan, because already, if you guys remember that in the early stages of the paternity, he basically said that he wanted to get his own baby. He was going to get a surrogate. He's going to get his own baby so no one can tell him what to do. And that is after the court said, the child should not be on social media. He basically said that he wanted to take that route. That was going to be his option going forward. No, I haven't heard anything about him moving forward with a surrogate as yet. So, at this point in time, we don't know if he was just, blabbing because he was feeling hurt and not getting to have his way. But what is very, concerning at this point is how will DDG work out the logistics of co-parenting with Halle when he moves to Nigeria? And also, I think that DDG is the thing is that Nigeria is a good place for anyone who truly wants to, especially, I believe, this is just my opinion and, from my observation as it relates to, Black Americans, I believe that countries and places like Nigeria really helps them to, find a sense of self, helps them to identify what they truly want out of life. And I believe that Nigeria has a great atmosphere, but at the same time, with Nigeria having so many similarities to, my own country, I would have to say to DDG, I think he's a bit too trusting of people, and that is something that he's going to really, really have to be extremely cautious about when he moves to Nigeria, because the people there, they're warmly welcoming, but at the same time, the minute percent, so it is not the good people that's going to be the problem. It's the minute amount, the bad people, because everywhere you go, there are bad people. And oftentimes when there's good money in Nigeria, make no mistakes. Oil, they have a lot of minerals, a lot of resources. You have a lot more Black billionaires in Nigeria than in the United States. Nigeria is somewhere where Black people can actually start a business and actually make something of themselves. But the good things are not the concern. It's the adversities that exist out there. And will DDG know how to identify it in a new culture? Will he know like what clues to look for, to know if people around him have good intentions or bad intentions? I believe that he really needs to be careful with this move to Nigeria. And anyone who's moving to any country that they're not native to, I believe that it is good for them to do their own research and be careful. Do not just, dip into that pool of friendliness. Take time to know the people that you're going to have in your circle, because he's going to have to make connections with people out there. And he really, really needs to be careful with the connections that he's making when he steps out there to Nigeria. And my reason for saying this is remembering his story when he went to the UK, when he said that he smoked some weed and he had, completely lost his memory for about 30 minutes. He didn't remember any of his friends or anything like that. Many people suspected that the weed that he was smoking was spiked by someone. No one actually knows if that is what happened or not, because sometimes when you smoke those stuff, what it does, it gives you a quick insight of the damage that it's causing to your brain slowly. So he may have that temporary memory loss, but maybe slowly that is what the marijuana is doing to him, because it is known to do that, especially when you start using it at a very tender age. People who start using it younger than 25, oftentimes they experience more side effects. So I'm just saying DDG needs to be very careful with his move, and also it's going to be very, very tricky for him to work on co-parenting with Halle and his son Halo, because I can't see Halle, even saying, yes, take Halo to Nigeria. I can't see her approving that. I literally cannot see it. So as it relates to him moving to Nigeria, I guess that move is going to include him, his close friends and family. And I think that, it's going to be a wake up call for DDG. And I don't mean that in a bad sense. I mean that in the best way possible. But I'm going to keep you guys tuned to see how DDG works out the logistics of moving to Nigeria, because he's craving, he's excited, he's anxious to get there. But he has one thing lingering, the custody of his child, because we know the judge is not going to allow that, and Halle is not going to allow that. She's definitely gonna fight that. Maybe if he was going there on a vacation, she would say, okay, maybe. But knowing that he's going to have a second home there, I can't see her approving that. But what about you guys? Leave your comment below. I want to hear from you all. While you're at it, do all you need to on this video to support your girl. Peace.